Happy New Year, everyone. We are in 2021, finally. I had planned things differently. I had originally planned to have like a New Year's video and talk about, what was happening with me during the course of, that weekend. My buddy Eli sent me a bottle of rye. I was going to open that up and toast and do all that good stuff. But life happens. Or in this case, I should say death happens. 2020 couldn't go out without giving us one last sucker punch. On New Year's Eve, my cousin, Dion, died from COVID-19. She'd been admitted to the hospital before Christmas. Her whole family ended up getting it. Her son and his family and her mother, my aunt, they all contracted COVID. I'm not really sure how she contracted it, but she was considered an essential worker. So the most likely way is she got it at work. I didn't run to social media with this. She's not the first person, in my family to have contracted COVID, not the first person close to me that's contracted COVID. And when these instances have happened and I found out about them, I didn't run to social media, to Facebook or Instagram or Twitter and be like, oh my God, this person in my family. I didn't do that. That's not me. I put a lot of myself and what goes on with me out on social media, but I didn't do that with this. And with the news of her passing, some of my other family members, of course, they expressed their grief on social media, but I didn't. And I'm just saying that because I think that people expect that, especially after this year where it seems like everyone is sharing their stories, what's happened to them, what's happened to their loved ones. I think that because people have been so open and they've been sharing all of these personal stories, I think that it's expected. And so some people probably looked at me and just been like, damn, Jay didn't say anything about his cousin, what's going on with that? Maybe he doesn't care or whatever. And that's not it. I just want to make that clear. That's not it. But I decided, what? I do want to share how I feel. And so I'm doing so now. I'm really upset for a number of reasons. I mean, I'm not going to front like, Dion and I were super tight and we like spoke on the phone every day or every week or anything like that. But, I did love her. She's my family. And I feel like Dion has always treated me like family. She's always shown me love, never given me any reason to believe that, she thought anything differently about me. And that means a great deal. That means a great deal. She apparently had her health issues in 2020. And so, those issues that arose, she fell into that category of being high risk for contracting COVID and for it to really do a number on her. And the thing is, Dion was not irresponsible. She wasn't the person going out unmasked. She wasn't engaging in like high risk activities. She wasn't not following best health practices. She was doing everything that she could in order to remain healthy, especially in light of her other health issues. And so what makes me angry about her death is that I feel like it was 1,000% preventable because she obviously contracted it from someone or, scenario in which they got it because somewhere down the line, someone did not adhere to best health practices. Like you do everything you can and still. And so when I do get on social media and stuff and I see people posting photos and videos of them in the club, drinking from the same champagne bottle, or I see people taking vacation to like Mexico or whatever. It's just bad behavior. Bad behavior. That seemed to be the theme of 2020 is people wanted to indulge in bad behavior and looked for any kind of reason to justify it. Whether it was not wearing a mask or, living your life as if your individual choices don't affect the community at large. Yeah, I just feel like these selfish behaviors is what led to the community spread that eventually claim Dion's life. And it's always people like her who pay the ultimate price. I mean, sure, people go out there and they act foolish and everything, and they might get sick, and maybe it'll just be mild, or maybe it'll be severe and it'll hurt, but they'll recover. But it's always, it seems like it's always the people who try their best to not get fucked up that end up getting fucked up. I talked with one of my sisters, and she explained how they felt at one point. They felt that the doctors and the hospital staff were giving up on Dion, and didn't know that my aunt worked at the hospital, didn't know that Dion was who she was. And once they found out, then it turned into, let's do what we can. But my sister said that, they still gave them false hope. They were still led to believe that, Dion was going to pull through, when I guess the reality was that wasn't the case. It's another reason why I'm upset, because, they told us. They were just like, hospitals are going to get overwhelmed. We're seeing it. They're having to put patients in hallways and cafeterias and parking lots and gift shops and shit like that. They don't have room. They don't have beds. They're turning people away. They said that this was going to happen. So knowing that the system's going to be overwhelmed, and then also just knowing the history of how black people of color, black people have historically been treated by the medical community, how our pain and suffering has been disregarded and dismissed. It makes it doubly scary. Dion didn't want to go into the hospital. She did not, after going through what she went through earlier in the year, becoming infected with COVID and having to go to the hospital. I know that was not what she wanted. I know that that's not what she wanted. I understand why she would have been afraid. So apparently, when she had to go to the hospital, it's in the midst of this surge and perhaps not getting the attention or the best treatment. And guess when she took a turn for the worse, they had to make difficult decisions as to the treatment she was going to get. I don't think people think about these things. I don't think they do. I think that people run around and they're just like, it's not bad, it's just like the flu. And if they do get it and they do have to go to the hospital, they'll be okay, they'll be taken care of. But you can't think like that. It's what they call optimism bias, in which you think whatever happens, you think that the outcome is still going to be most favorable for you. Optimism bias. That's not how shit works. Maybe it's my Virgo mentality, but I'm always thinking about every scenario, especially the worst case scenario, and that's the one that I plan for. That's the one that I think about. When my family had taken several trips last year, and I didn't want them to, but they did. And for me, the worst case scenario was someone getting sick and then perhaps bringing COVID to my oldest sister, who has lupus. Turns out my sister got lupus because her husband worked in an assisted living facility. So worrying about someone traveling and bringing it back to her, that wasn't the thing. But in any case, thankfully, their symptoms were mild. My sister and my brother-in-law, their symptoms were mild, and so they made it through. The shit is scary. It's frustrating. I'm out here in California by myself. And I was telling my sister, I'm really not trying to take any fucking chances, because if I do have to go to the hospital, like there's no one. I have no one out here. Again, worst case scenario. And just to see people behave so cavalierly, just like the shit's not a big deal, or to try to justify their bad behavior. Say whatever the fuck you want, but when you're doing like something wrong. When you're behaving badly. No one can really shame you. You shame yourself because what the fuck you're doing. And just to see people just act like what they're doing doesn't affect anyone else. It's fucking frustrating. On social media, I peep all this behavior, and I'm just like, it really makes me look at a lot of people differently. And when I said it earlier, I was kind of half joking. oh, people that I thought were smart aren't really that smart. If I had kids, I would trust with I would no longer trust with my kids. All that was said in a kind of cheeky manner. But as time, has gone on, like, dead ass serious, I'm looking at people and I'm just like, what in the fuck is going on in that apparently hollow skull of yours? I would ask what you're thinking, but your actions reveal to me that you're not thinking. So there are a lot of people that I'm definitely looking at differently and will be interacting with in the future a whole lot differently because I understand what their thought processes are. It's just like I see how you're going to react in the most dire of situations. And if you lack self-preservation, then I know you don't give a fuck about anybody else. I'm not gonna put my life in fucking danger. Anyway, I know that they're going to do something for my cousin, small, kind of like wake and funeral gathering. They're working it out. They're going to do something. And even though number one, I'm not going. I won't be able to go. I'm not really a fan of the in-person thing. But I get it. I understand. It's just it's fucking disappointing. It's infuriating. It's tragic. It's sad. So I want to shout out my younger cousins, Pepe and Deja. My heart goes out to you. To my auntie, Bucci, I know that you never thought that this would be something that you would ever have to do. And I'm sorry. To my cousin Nikki. Same, my heart goes out to you. And to my cousin Dion, you are going to be missed. Miss you already. So this is how 2021 has started. I'm really hoping that things go up from here. Really hoping for no more tragedies.